Kia ora everyone, and welcome to the speculation station here, because LEGO Star Wars did receive some pretty big rumored news recently. There's just one major rumored set that I want to talk about today. There have been rumors about other things, and maybe we can touch up on those in the new year, but this is the one that really stuck out to me for reasons I want to talk to you about today. If you enjoyed this rumor video and you have any thoughts of your own that you would like to share, liking this video and subscribing to the channel here and commenting down below does help to support more videos like this one in the future. So LEGO set number 75419 is rumored to be a UCS Death Star that releases in October of 2025, so we are already a long ways off there. We don't have a piece count on this set, but we do have the current slated price point, which is apparently 1000 USD. That's before tax, making this the most expensive LEGO Star Wars set released to date, and I believe possibly the most expensive set period. Now, converted for New Zealand and Australia, we're looking at spending a lot more than $1,000 of our currency. The NZD translation there is $1,730, so I'm expecting that number to be rounded up, way up. There is a lot to cover here for this conversation, so obviously it's worth noting that this is, I believe, the first LEGO set in America to be priced that high for their currencies. But obviously, many other countries around the world have already had LEGO sets reach $1,000 or their equivalency of $1,000 in their currencies. I don't have a tally chart for every single set that's released over $1,000 for me here in NZ, but currently available on Shop at Home we have 6 genuine release sets on shelves, and funnily enough, 3 of them are Star Wars related sets. It looks like the UCS Falcon is still today, or at least until October, the most expensive LEGO set ever produced, and still it sells out, mind you. It's on back order until January, even after all these years. So maybe this will be the first set for us that reaches close to that $2,000 range. I think actually looking at that track record, maybe we should be expecting to see sets priced at the $2,000 range sometime in the future, probably within this decade perhaps. A Death Star remake sounds pretty expected. The last one released was in 2016, and it was retired by 2020, a fact I actually only just learned by researching for this video. It was a very controversial release at the time. If I recall, it was because of the comparisons directly made to the 2008 model. The issue at the time being that the price point was $100 more than that 2008 one, the piece count being slightly higher did not justify the price for many. The figures were updated with much better designs and some newer inclusions, but people also criticized the build as remaining practically the exact same as the 2008 model. There were some differences, but not nearly enough to justify that price range. It released in the same year as another controversial UCS adult targeted set with the Assault on Hoth. These two sets sparked many angry commenters within the community in 2016. If only they knew back then how bad it would be today with LEGO's views on prices and remakes. I think the reaction to these models back in 2016 is what has people intrigued with this newer one coming out next year. Everybody argued back in 2016 that this Death Star needed to have closed off panels. Some believed it should have had both the dollhouse style and the closed off panels. I remember seeing people at the time say, well, it should have been a rotation. That 2005 model was all closed off, then the 2008 one was a dollhouse, so it should have been another closed off one, and this one here coming out next year should have been the open exposed one. It's possible that that's what they might be doing here, but let's take a look at those originals. The very first UCS Death Star was released in 2005. It was on shelves for 2 years with 3,449 pieces in total, and it retailed for $270 USD at the time before tax, which today with inflation is about $436 USD before tax. Today in NZD through the secondhand market, this is about 6k sealed or $1,300 odd in secondhand condition, around that range. After all, it is just a bunch of bricks. This type of thing is pretty cool to gaze upon from afar for me, but I've never had any desire to build anything close to this myself. I understand the appeal though, and I imagine the diehard fans who are more into this than I am are patiently waiting on the sides, hoping for something like this next year. This one here does feature the closed off walls and panels, and it does look visually better, I think, than the dollhouse sets. Where this would be really appealing for me and likely others watching would be an interior design. In 2008, we had the most famous LEGO Star Wars set release at the time, and it was only on shelves for apparently 2 years, 3,808 pieces in total, and now we had some minifigures, 24 of them, but only 4 of these remained exclusive here in retrospect. The price at release was $400 USD, which today with inflation is $586 USD before tax. For us here in NZ, the price at release was $900, which was crazy because I remember that Australia had it cheaper by like 150 bucks. And here in NZ through the secondhand market, you're looking at 1,180 NZD sealed, or about 845 NZD opened, which I think has something to do with the remake set taking all the attention away from this one. It was a huge deal at the time of its release, and very funny to me now as an adult because LEGO released something like this every single year. Hell, LEGO release multiple sets like this every year. There's been at least 5 of them this year that I've been wanting to buy, but you know, price-wise and size-wise, I just can't really justify it at this stage. This was them really treading the waters with these types of builds. Even at the time of 2008, I feel like these figures felt out of date to me just because at that point we were being confused with those Clone Wars figures. And yeah, the Clone Wars figures were really ugly to look at, but they did have extra details like colors in their eyes. These figures now, especially in 2024, look very of the time. But the set was cool. It had multiple rooms to recreate scenes from not just one movie but 2 movies. You had some doubles of figures there like Luke and Han, who were both appearing in Stormtrooper outfits and just their regular appearances. It's something that LEGO would only occasionally do in sets today. It felt like a white whale for many at the time. I was a kid and I was still in single digits for my age, so it was just never going to happen. Eventually, fast forward 8 years and this set would be remade, released in October of 2016, and it remained on shelves for 4 years. I believe it was intended for people like me who missed the 2008 set but desperately wanted the Death Star released. It cost 500 USD at the time, which today through inflation is $657 USD before tax. Here in NZ, when this was released, it was a rock solid 900 NZD, the exact same price as that 2008 set. There was no increase for us. Price-wise in NZ now through our aftermarket space, it's pretty much in line actually with that 2008 one, $1,586 sealed, or just over $1,000 for a second-hand condition, which I found rather interesting. There's a cool Brickset article about this whole ordeal, and it covers the differences, both major and minor. I can't stress enough how much of a big deal this thing was at release. I'm learning as I go. There was so much speculation before the reveal on what this possibly could be, and just so many angered buyers as a result. There were 27 minifigures here, this time with 9 of them remaining exclusive. It's characters though like Leia and Han in their Stormtrooper armor or their A New Hope appearance, figures that would actually be remade and released later on in sets in the future, so exclusive but in quotations. Now from what we've seen with these Death Stars though, the prices, even when you factor in inflation, come nowhere close to the $1,000 price tag for 2025 that we should be expecting, which is why I think we need to compare these to the actual expensive Star Wars sets from the UCS line like the Falcon. It released just 1 year after the Death Star from 2016, and it felt like a bit of a course correction almost. It was an insane thing to be witnessing at the time. Released in 2017, still on shelves today in 2024, the set here costs $850 USD before tax, or $1,500 in NZD. The piece count on this thing is almost doubled from that Death Star, almost. At 7,541 pieces in total, it only includes 8 minifigures and only 2 of them remain exclusive. I think that this gives us a slightly better indicator for the new Death Star then. It's gotta surely be aiming towards the 8K range for pieces, possibly even more. I've heard some claim online that they think it could be possibly reaching 10K or higher, but this sort of thing can be deceiving. I look at sets like the Imperial Star Destroyer, which released just 2 years later. It featured significantly less going on, with almost 2,000 less pieces, and it had less minifigures, and it didn't feature an interior space either. Yet despite those flaws, it remained only $200 less than the Falcon set for us here in NZ, so I don't know, this could ultimately go either way. Overall, my thoughts are this: the proposed $1,000 LEGO set will be completely unattainable for a lot of people in my eyes. I'm very privileged to be able to earn my LEGO spending money through this site and this audience, and even then, I think it's still going to be unobtainable for me in my current situation. I think the thing that we forget with sets like this is that LEGO aren't targeting us as a primary consumer, they're targeting the super well-off 1% types. These here aren't considered toys, these are considered the expensive luxury item models. Especially during the times that we live in right now, only those top dog people can possibly afford stuff like this. The problem I think that the community has with these releases, and I'm talking about myself here as well, is that LEGO do offer all of these sets towards their influencers, and the influencers are the ones that are targeting the general consumers, not the top dollar 1% types. And that's no disrespect intended for those influencer type people. I like the content that they produce and it is helpful to the general consumer, myself included. But I don't think an influencer's target audience is necessarily other influencers. I think that they're targeting their audience, which is mostly built out of regular consumers. As each year goes on, I think we feel more and more alienated by this toy company as they slowly start kind of driving us away. I'm very eager to see what this thing looks like exactly. I've already accepted that it's not going to be for me, it won't be attainable, so I'll just have to sit on the sidelines here. I imagine a lot of people watching this video are probably going to be falling in the same boat, but I want to see how they warrant that price tag. How many stickers are we expecting to have in a $1,000 LEGO set? If we even get minifigures, because you know that's not necessarily guaranteed nowadays. How well detailed will they be? Because CMF series figures are $5 a piece and they look incredible, and I've bought sets well over half a grand here in NZD currency that have minifigures with very minimal prints before. This is a set that I think LEGO need to make sure breaks previous records. It's got to have the most amount of pieces total and the highest minifigure count for a LEGO Star Wars set, which I think is still currently the 2016 Death Star. Like I said, I am eagerly anticipating seeing what this thing is and awaiting the response from the rest of the world, because I think no matter what they decide to reveal, it's going to be met with mixed reception. Whatever your thoughts are on this thing though, you should let me know down below. Liking this video here and subscribing to the channel does help to support us in making more videos like this one in the future. Ka kite ana everyone, take care, and I hope to see you all next time.